Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verses 21 to 29.
Bhagyasparsheshvasadatma Vindatyatmani yatsukham Sabrahma-yoga-yuktatma Sukhamakshayamashnuti Yehi samsparshaja bhogaha Dukkhayo-nayadivate Adyantavantah kaunteya Nateshu ramate bhutaha Shaknoti haiva yasodhum Praksharira vimokshana Kama krodhodbhavam vegam Sayuktasya sukhi naraha Yontas sukhondararamaha Tadhata jyotirevayah Sayogi brahma nirvanam Brahma bhutodhigacchati Labhante brahma nirvanam Rishayah kshina kalmashaha Shinnadvaithayatatmanaha Sarvabhutahite rataha Kama krodha viyuktana Yatinam yatachetasam Abhito brahma nirvanam Vartate viditatmanam Sparshan kritva bahirvayan Chakshushvaivantare bhuvoho Pranapanau samau kritva Nasabhyantaracharinav Yatindriyamano buddhihi Munirmokshaparayanaha Vigatechabhaya krodaha Yassada mukta eva saha Bhoktaram yajnatapasam Sarvaloka maheshwaram Suhrutam sarvabhutanam Nyatva mam shanti vricchati.
The most important thing in life is to question everything, not to accept anything for granted. As children, it's okay to not question. When I say children, also up to a certain age. In fact, after that, they start questioning. We are the ones who stifle their questioning. You understand? So, when a child is born, up to around the age of 5, only the physical brain is growing. Then the mind starts developing after 5. And then when the child comes to teenage, so around 11, 12, 13, around that time, the intellect starts to grow, the buddhi. You understand? So, and that's the time we need to encourage the children to build the intellect, strengthen the intellect. But unfortunately, what is happening in the world today is we are stuffing the children with a lot of information. Children who go to schools, they have a lot of things to do. You understand? Whatever we could not achieve in life, we want the children to achieve. And then as it is in the school, there's a lot of information. So we are only stuffing them with a lot of information, intelligence. There's hardly any program to build the intellect, to think independently. So as a result, what is happening is, we are all physically growing up as adults. See, by default, all of us will become adults. You just have to turn 18. You understand? You'll be declared an adult. Now, to really grow as a matured individual, are you with me? You need to have the ability to be independent, to think originally. How many of us have that capacity today? So, we have to question everything, not accept anything blindly. Otherwise, we will be following mechanically. You understand? So, that is why in the book Vedanta Treatise, in the very beginning, in the very first chapter, Swamiji says, the role of Vedanta is to pull man out of his infatuations to celebrities, personalities, and educate him on eternities. You understand? We think if something is being said by a great personality, or the world, who the world thinks they are great personality, then we should follow it. Or if it is said by somebody who thousands of people follow, hundreds and thousands of people follow, then we must follow that. You understand? Or if it is said by some celebrity, we must follow. So it is mostly unthinking following, mechanical existence. Hardly anybody really questions, is this the way I should live? Right? You have a choice in Indian education system. When you go from 10th to 11th, you can choose different subjects. How many of the children are allowed to choose what they really want to choose, what they are really passionate about? You understand? Very often we force them. So, why we go to school, why we study particular thing, why we have to go to college, and after that, why should we take a job, or why should we do business, and after that, should we get married, not get married, and then after that, should we beget children or not beget children? In every aspect, do we think and proceed? You understand? Man, human, in Sanskrit means manushya, one who has the mind to think, to question and function. If we don't question and function, if we mechanically function, then we are something else, maybe a plant or an animal in human form. We are so scared. Maybe if I think and do something, I may go wrong. So I might as well follow somebody else. It's a safer path. It's a safer path. We don't understand that each one of us are unique. God never paints the same picture again. Everybody is unique. You understand? You come alone, you go alone. And yet, we want to be safe. He is already gone in that path. Why not I go in that same path? You understand? Why can't I have my own path? Why can't? It's not that I want to be original, doesn't mean, if everybody is wearing a shirt and pant, I'll wear kurta and pajama. It's not, that is not being original. That is out of ego. I want to be seen as different. That is something else. Independent thinking. You understand? Doesn't matter how many people say that the earth is flat. The scientists declared earth is not flat, it's round. You understand? It doesn't matter how many people believed that sun is revolving around the earth. He said, no, it's the other way around. So, that is called original thinking. We don't have that. We just mechanically follow. So, when a person thinks originally, everybody is moving in a particular direction. Is that right? Is it correct? If it's correct, I will do that. I have no problem. But is it correct? Have they thought about and are they moving? Or are they moving mechanically? Let me think. And that moment you start thinking and start proceeding correctly, you are called a yogi. Then when you further grow, you become a sannyasi. Then you finally reach that ultimate goal, you are a jnani. So that he discussed in the first 7 shlokas. Then how the yogi, sannyasi, jnani relate to action, he discussed from verse number 8 to 10. A jnani objectively functions. That's why we gave the caption, objectivity in action. The body is functioning, mind is functioning, intellect is functioning. I am Atma. I am not the doer. They are functioning. He withdraws. He remains objective, witness while acting. Whereas a sannyasi dedicates the action for the goal of realization of the truth. Brahman. Brahmani adaya karman. Sangam tyaktva. He says very beautifully, he says in verse number 10. Right? So, he is dedicating the actions for Brahman, the ultimate truth, renouncing the attachment. Like Padma Patra Ivambasa, like lotus leaf in water, without any attachment. Whereas a yogi, he still has not grown to that level where he can directly say that my goal is self-realization. So he has to first purify. We have to become free from a lot of conditionings. You grow up in a particular family, you grow up in a particular environment, you have a lot of conditionings. Oh, you are a woman, you can't do this. You can do this, you cannot do this. From the time you are born till the time you die, so many conditionings. Are you with me? And we have to purify ourselves of all these conditionings, clear the cobwebs, and then think and come to the level of independence, which is sannyas. So first, he pitches the goal of self-purification, yogi, and functions. That's how he acts. And then from 13 till 19, we have covered up to that. The topic is the state of Supreme Being. So, a person who's reached that state, is identified with Atma, knows that Atma is akarta, abhokta. He functions without any motive. I am not the doer. The equipments are functioning. I am akarta, I am abhokta. So therefore there is no sin or virtue for me. No pap, punya. But yet, people are committing a lot of sins. People are gaining a lot of pap and punya. Why is it? He said, it is because they are ignorant of their true nature. You understand? Their original nature is covered by ignorance. Since it's covered by ignorance, I told you, from ajnanam comes what? Moha, delusion. From moha, delusion comes, delusion means wrong understanding. I think that I am this individual. I am indivisible, but I don't know that. I think I am individual. This is delusion, wrong understanding. And once I am in moha, once I am convinced that I am this individual, very interesting. Our guru used to say one story. One fellow suddenly started believing that he is a worm. I don't know how, don't ask me how. He started believing that he is a worm. And day by day, this thought was becoming too much, and it's a problem not just for him, for others also. Because he said, I will not come out, you won't get out. Because he is so scared that because he thinks that he is a worm, and if he comes out, he'll be eaten by the birds. So he won't come out. Now they said, my God, this is a big problem. So they took him to a psychiatrist. He, after discussing with him and all that, he said, Arey Baba, this fellow, needs to be admitted. It will take minimum 6 months to cure this guy. It's not that easy. You understand? So you admit him. So he was admitted and he treated him and he became fine. So the doctor was very much convinced. When the doctor was convinced that he's cured, he said, call your parents. Parents came and they also said thank you very much and all that. And the discharge procedures were done and they were about to go. He got into the car. Then he said, no, I have a question to ask the doctor. So they said, okay, go. He went and the doctor was sitting in his room. He rushed in. He said, I have a question. Are you came back? What happened? I have a question. I thought you're cured. No, I am cured. I know I'm not a worm. But I have a doubt. What doubt? Have you told the poultry farm that I am not a worm? Have you informed the poultry farm? Because if supposing they don't know, they may come and pick me up. He said, admit him again. Another 6 months. Or maybe 1 year now. See, this is the thing. We are all absolutely convinced that I am this individual. Even if I understand that I am indivisible, have you told everybody that I am indivisible? You understand? That's the situation. So, because of the delusion, since I am thinking I am this individual, limited person, I feel insecure. And to take care of my insecurity, my thoughts run towards the world outside. That is called desire. And once I have desire, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, bhaya, all things I get into, I get caught, I get trapped, I get bound. So, from ajnanam comes moha, from moha comes raga, from raga comes bandha. You understand? So, if I have to free the bandha, I have to free the raga, attachments. If I have to free the raga, I have to free the ignorance. How do I free the ignorance? He says it's only possible through knowledge of the self. Knowledge of the self removes the ignorance like the sun removes the darkness. Even little sun that comes out first thing in the morning, we call it as dawn. It's not fully come. We can switch off the lights and move around. Isn't it? Like that, even little bit you understand this knowledge. Little bit. You will be a completely different person. There will be tremendous clarity in your life. Everything changes. The way you think, the way you perceive things will change. And that matters. In all my lectures, somehow I bring this context and talk about it. Stephen Covey says, in a train abroad, in the metro train, few guys were traveling early in the morning, not early, maybe 10 o'clock or so. Everybody was minding their business. It was quiet. Suddenly, in one particular station, one man got in with two children, two of his sons, teenagers. And they were running around and making a lot of noise. So this guy said, hey, are they your sons? Can you not tell them to keep quiet? He said, yes, I'm thinking how to tell them to keep quiet. Because we are just coming from their mother's funeral. That's my wife's funeral. Immediately this man said, oh, it's okay. Let them make noise. It doesn't disturb me. When they were running around, he was disturbed. Now he is not disturbed. What happened? Situation is same. Perception has changed. The moment my perception changes about myself, the way I see the world, the way I function, the way I conduct myself, the way the world affects me, influences me, everything changes. You understand? That knowledge, that little adjustment, that's important. Once in a factory, which was, producing something very important, and they had 3 shifts. 24 hours the machinery was running. Therefore, it's important that they don't have any shutdown, So, something happened, machine was not working. Then they found out they forgot to sign the annual maintenance contract. So now they called the company, hey, emergency, please send your service engineer. They said, our service engineer has gone somewhere else. You have to fly him in if you want urgently. Then you have to pay the flight ticket, this, that, and he will come inspect and then give you the cost. How much it will take to set things right. So they said, how much ever it is, let him come. He came. And they paid his airfare, everything. He came. After some time, he went around the machine and all that. Then he just tightened one screw and gave a very fat bill, few $1,000s. What? You just tightened one screw and so much dollar? He said, to tighten the screw, it's only $1. But to know which screw to tighten, baki dollars. Dusra screw tighten kiya tha, will it function? You understand? Similarly, what knowledge? You are all having knowledge. What knowledge? Except Brahma Vidya, except Atma Vidya, except knowledge of the self. We have all knowledges. We have knowledge about which actor is getting married, which actor is getting divorced. We have knowledge about it. How is it going to help us? In what way is it going to help us? You understand? So therefore, this knowledge lifts ignorance, removes delusion, then your perception changes, then everything changes. And that person who's got that knowledge, he rises above agitations and he reaches a state of no return. That person reaches a state of no return. Once the vasanas are gone, once the delusion is gone, thereafter you don't fall into the same delusion. Once you rise above the dream and become the Veka, you don't go into the dream again. Isn't it? You've fallen into the dream and you're going through certain experiences. And you wake up from the dream, do you get back to the same dream? Similarly, once you come out of the delusion, there is thereafter no more getting back to that delusion. You understand? Because a lot of people have this question. What is the guarantee that I will not fall back into delusion again? This guarantee is there. You won't fall back. Then, what is the vision of that person who's reached that state, who's become undeluded? He said, you have samatva bhava. He sees the Atma in every being. Verse number 18, chapter 5, I told you, very important shloka. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi hastini sunishchaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshinaha. Samadarshinaha does not mean that he doesn't know who is a sattvic person, who is a rajasic person, who is a tamasic person. You understand? He gives the example. The example he says, a brahmana and swapaka. Swapaka means outcast who eats dog's meat. And brahmana who's built his body with sattvic food. Right? And then he says, cow, elephant, dog, different animals. Whatever may be the variety, it doesn't mean that he doesn't see the variety. But even through all the variety, he sees the unity, the unifying factor, the unity in diversity. Atma. You understand? Therefore, in all the differences, he only sees the Atma. We have Mahakavi Bharati, who also fought for Indian freedom struggle from Tamil Nadu. He says, Kakai Chiraginile Nandalala Nindan Kariya Niram Tonudada Nandalala. Means when he saw the crow, he sees the black color of Sri Krishna. He's reminded of Sri Krishna seeing the crow. You understand? So in everything, and when he sees the tree, he sees the green color. He says, I'm reminded of the divinity. In everything you can be reminded of the divinity. That's how he sees. I told you the perception has changed. And that person overcomes birth here. Birth means death. Birth, death means change. He goes beyond birth and death, beyond all changes. He reaches Brahman because Brahman is beyond dukkha. He reaches that and he is become equal. And he is established in Brahman. That's the state of Brahman. Now in verse number 20, from 20 till 29, the last topic, which deals with renunciation, precedes meditation and liberation. Which means renunciation leads to meditation, meditation leads to liberation. It's this, in this order. This is what he discusses. So in 20, he's now going to talk about the lakshanam. How do you know who's reached that state? Or how do you know if you are evolving? If you are a yogi, if you're a sannyasi, you're a jnani, you're in the right direction. How do you know that? That he explains. Continue.
न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढः ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः.
With steady intellect established in Brahman. Our intellect is not established in Brahman. Our intellect is established in the world. Our discrimination today is about how I can increase my wealth, how I can increase my name, fame, power, position, family status. We're using our buddhi for these things. Mind is having the desire for the worldly things, and the buddhi is used for accumulating more and more and enjoying, isn't it? Whereas here he says, this person's buddhi is totally established in Brahman. With steady intellect established in Brahman, the undeluded knower of Brahman. The person is no more deluded, neither rejoices on obtaining what is pleasant, nor grieves on obtaining what is unpleasant. Meaning what? He is not affected by the pairs of opposites. The setup does not upset that person. For us, the setup has to be maintained the same way. Something happens, we get upset. And please understand, world will keep on changing everything. Everything changes. Isn't it? Everything changes. From the time we are born till the time we die, what is constant? Change is the only constant. It's constantly going on changing. Right? And if you have expectation that nothing should change, you will be agitated. So, you have changed yourself from within by reaching the changeless reality. That's the only thing that is changeless. The Brahman alone is changeless. By identifying with that Brahman, all the changes does not affect you. You get unaffected by all these changes. You understand? See, magnet, iron rod and wooden piece. You take them together. You take the magnet, bring the iron rod closer to the magnet. Will it get attracted or not? It will. You bring the wooden stick closer to the magnet. Will it get attracted? No. You tie the iron rod and the wooden piece together. Will it get attracted? Yes. But even when it is attracted, is the wooden piece attracted? Seems to be attracted? No. It seems to be attracted, but it is not attracted. So we are the combination of Atma and this body-mind intellect. Body-mind intellect, you compare it with iron piece. Wooden piece is the Atma. Don't go about saying Atma is wood. Atma is not wood. In this example. So we are a combination. Magnet is the world. You understand? So when we are a combination and we are ignorant, we get attracted and affected by the world. But when we are knowledgeable, we identify with the Atma within. World is going on changing. Nothing has changed, but we get affected. When you go out, traffic jam will be there. They won't say, "Arey, these people are coming from Gita class. Please let them go first." ऐसा नहीं होता है. You understand? It is the same traffic jam. Everything same, but you are not affected. Why? Because your identification is with Brahman. It's very important. You become independent. Mentally. See, physically we are all dependent. For me to come to this class, I am dependent on the vehicle. You are all dependent on the vehicle. You have to come here. You are dependent on something or the other. Physically. But we have the choice to be mentally dependent or not. So the sign of evolution, everybody is interested. Sir, how do I know if I am evolved or not? How do I know? You become more and more independent. That affectations will not be there. Things being the same, it doesn't affect you. That doesn't mean you don't put in the effort to change that. It's not mechanical acceptance. But you are comfortable. You understand? It's not tamas. See, this is the problem. We misunderstand the scriptures and we fall into tamas. ऐसा ही है, कुछ नहीं करना. No. Externally जो कर सकते करो. But अगर change हुआ ठीक है, change नहीं हुआ फिर भी कोई problem नहीं. It doesn't affect me. I still have the same enthusiasm to go about working. You understand? Oh, every time you are going, so many years you've been going, now this is fourth, I think. Fourth year, we're having the Gita Jnana Yajna. Not so many people are coming. No problem. You continue. Keep talking. You understand? Swamiji says, he spoke more than 60 years, my Guru. He says, not even one person has understood, including all you fellows, he says. We have joined the ashram, studying. He says, you have also not understood. He says, it's so subtle, you miss it. It is so subtle, you miss it. Because by the time we leave this hall, we forget and we get involved. Isn't it? We are more concerned about what is there for dinner. Why you made this? I told you to make something else. We get affected. You understand? This samsara, this maya is too powerful. We get trapped. That's why we have to keep, pursuing the knowledge. So the sign of development is independence. The more you spiritually evolve, you become more and more independent mentally. You understand? Otherwise, you'll be dependent. Jnani is absolutely independent. Now, from next shloka, 21, 22, 23. It's interesting, you can explain that from different angles. Now, he is talking about, the topic is Karma Sannyasi Yoga. He's talking about the glory of renunciation. You understand? I told you, renunciation means knowledge. Knowledge means renunciation. They are not two different things. Only to the extent you have the higher knowledge, you can renounce the lower. Are you with me? So the glory of renunciation as a result of Viveka is discussed in 21, 22, 23. Because the topic is what? Renunciation leads to meditation. Meditation leads to realization. Continue 21.
Vindatyatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukhamakshayam.
Unattached to external contacts, one finds the happiness that is in the self. Uniting oneself to Brahman by yoga, one attains eternal bliss. See, we must understand the difference between enjoyment and happiness. And if you want to understand the difference between enjoyments and happiness or bliss, happiness and bliss I'm using as synonyms. You must understand your personality. Okay. Our human personality is made up of what? I already told you. It's the combination of spirit and matter. Atma, the self, and then body, mind, intellect. Okay. Mind and intellect are called Sukshma Shariram, subtle body. Physical body is called Sthula Shariram, gross body. Okay? Do you get it? Don't worry about Sanskrit. Gross physical body. And then we have mind and intellect, which is subtle. Do you see the mind and intellect? Body you see. Mind and intellect is subtle. But you know it is there. A lot of emotions, thoughts, discriminative thoughts, indiscriminate thoughts, all that you are seeing. So, they are subtle. Right? Now, somebody who is physically challenged, he also has ears, but he is not able to hear. But physical ear is there, right? So this physical ear, according to our Shastra, is only Gwalaya. Gwalaya means the counter. The real instrument that hears is in the mind. That sense, you understand? That sense capacity to hear is Sukshma. It is subtle body. Okay. I told you already, we have the luxury to discuss in detail in our weekly classes. Here we don't. So we are starting weekly classes here. So please join. You know the details, you have the details. From next week we'll begin the classes. So now that's the instrument. This is the gross counter. Mind, intellect has the capacity, the sense center is in the mind, and that has the capacity to hear. I'm just giving one example. Now you add with reference to seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, everything. The sense centers are in the mind. This is only the gross counter. You understand? So through this, the sound goes, but then it gets registered in the mind. So where is the enjoyment happening? In the mind. Are you with me? The enjoyment is happening in the mind. The color and form, the sound, all this are going in through the senses, and it is enjoyed in the mind. So what is happening? This is called enjoyment, which comes, you experience, and then it's gone. This is called experience, but it's coming and going. It's not permanent. Therefore, a sannyasi, vairagi, remains unattached to the external contacts. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have external contacts. He has external contacts, but he understands. I already explained this also in yesterday's class. When you desire an object, your agitation comes. Correct? Your mind is peaceful. You desire a cigarette. I gave that example. Now, without cigarette, you are agitated. So when you smoke, the agitation is removed. You experience joy. Correct or not? Now you are thinking the joy came from cigarette. If it came from cigarette, the other fellow who is running away from cigarette, why it's not giving joy? Because he doesn't have desire for cigarette. You understand? So the agitation is created by the very desire for the object, and the contact with the object removes the agitation. You have come in contact with the joy, bliss within. The bliss within. Are you with me? But it stays only temporarily, that enjoyment. Why? Another desire comes. For the same object or something else. Are you with me? So this is enjoyment, that is bliss. So as long as we are caught in the external contacts mentally, as long as our mind is craving for more and more color and form, sound, etc., we will not be experiencing the bliss within. I'm purposely keeping quiet. When I'm keeping quiet, some sound is coming. No? I don't know from where. Maybe from these equipments. Yes or no? Can you hear? When I'm talking, are you hearing that? So as long as there is this sound, that which is subtle you don't hear. This is what is happening. All of us are lost in the external world. The joy within we have forgotten. You understand? This joy which is, this bliss which is within us, we have no idea. We are all attached to the external contact. Whereas a sannyasi, a yogi, they understand. Therefore, they don't get caught in the external things. For contact, they may physically contact something, okay, fine. But they know there is no joy in it. He explains that why there is no joy. In fact, there is only sorrow. That he explains that in the next sloka. So one finds happiness that is in the self after detaching from the external contacts. Uniting oneself to Brahman by yoga. By yoga means the path of karma yoga, that is at the physical level, action, and the path of bhakti, devotion, and by the path of knowledge, intellect. See, we have physical body through which we need to act. When your actions are dedicated for the higher goal, it's karma yoga. When your emotions are channelized towards the higher, and there is that feeling of oneness and identification, and when there is that feeling of surrender, bhakti means self-effacement. Ego should go down, reduce. That is bhakti. In bhakti, when we are singing bhajans, if there is ego amongst us and we are shouting too much, each one of us competing with each other, that is not bhakti. You understand? Bhakti means self-effacement. And then comes knowledge. What is that? What is real? What is unreal? What is the truth? What is not the truth? That discriminating ability, that capacity, that is knowledge. With that, you direct yourself towards the higher. So you perform karma, bhakti, jnana, and then you come to renunciation. This mental state of renunciation, I again repeat, mental state of renunciation, which may be followed with physical renunciation, may not be. You understand? This we have been maintaining from day one. Okay? But that mental state of renunciation, that calmness, and with that you qualify for meditation, and through meditation you attain that supreme bliss, that eternal bliss. That's what he says. Uniting oneself unattached to external contacts, one finds the happiness that is in the self. Uniting oneself to Brahman by 3 yogas, one attains eternal bliss which is within. Attains means it's not that earlier he was not having that eternal bliss. He was always having the eternal bliss. But now he owns it up by keeping quiet mentally. Right? Now, how is it that he is able to be unattached to external contacts? Because he has Viveka Shakti. With that he understands that there is no joy in the external contact. In fact, there is only dukkham. How is it? He explains in the next shloka. Continue.
Ye samsparshaja bhogaha dukkhayonaya evate adyantavantah kaunteya nate shuramate buddha.
So why is he detached from the external contacts? He says, for the enjoyments that are born of contacts are only wombs of sorrow. It's like, you have, let's say, dry skin. Right? I developed this during this winter, dry skin, and start getting that feeling of itching. So I have to apply that moisturizer. Right? Then it becomes better. But when it's itching, how much ever you control, sometimes very difficult. And you're talking to somebody and you're going on scratching. And after some time, you messed it up. That time it's pleasurable. But, why should I do it, man? He says, like that it is. Enjoyments are like that. You understand? So he says, for the enjoyments that are born of contacts are only wombs of sorrow. Dukkha yonayaha. They are dukkha yonayaha. Yoni means womb. Yonaya means wombs. Dukkha yonaya means they are wombs of sorrow. From that there is only sorrow. There is no joy, he says. The external contact enjoyment. That doesn't mean when you contact there is no enjoyment. When you contact there is enjoyment. But uske baad bada problem hai. See, the moment you have a desire for an object, agitation starts till you get it. Yes or no? Surpanaka, she wanted to marry Rama. She tried her best. He said, forget it, yaar. Leave me alone. Then she went to Lakshmana. Lakshmana said, get lost. Then she came again to Rama and said, because your wife is there, you are not coming to me. I'll kill her. And when she went to kill Sita Ma, then Lakshmana cut her nose. She went and told Karadushan. Karadushan fought and they lost. All those stories are there. Then she went to Ravana. What did she say? She knows very well. If I say this, then he will not go and fight with them. So what did she say? I saw a beautiful woman called Sita and talked about her beauty. And what happened to Ravana? He came running. You understand? So after that, all problem started for him. You understand? So this is the thing. The moment desire comes, if I don't get that object, till that time I am agitated. Dukkha started then only. सबके पास ये है वो है मेरे पास क्या है मेरे पास क्या है. So then dukkha started. Correct or not? And then once you start working towards that, there is no assurance you will get it. Is there assurance that you will get it? No assurance. And that is giving tension. Will I get it? Will I get it? Will I get it? And then once you get it, how long that joy lasts? How long? For a few seconds maybe, few minutes maybe. It's very temporary, isn't it? So, when you drink Pepsi Cola or any cola, Coca-Cola, whatever, it comes in a transparent bottle. They put a straw in it, you have to bend down and drink. When you're sipping, the quantity is reducing. It's reducing. It's agitating you. You understand? No, you can't swallow. If you don't swallow, how will you enjoy? You understand? So, this is the problem. As you are experiencing, the joy goes. That agitates you. Right? And now, you contact again, the joy is reduced. The neutralization we talked about. You understand? Second and third, it goes on reducing. Isn't it? The neutralizing effect happens. Therefore, what happens? Second and third, joy is going on reducing. There comes a time when you cannot be without it. That's called addiction. You cannot be without it. But with it, you are not that happy. Isn't it? With it, you are not happy. But without it, you are in depression. That addiction happens. And then fear is there. Will somebody take it away from me? Even if the object is there and enjoyment is not there from it, fear is there. Will somebody take it away from me? Will somebody take it away from me? Yes or no? That fear comes, addiction comes, fear comes, that dependence comes. All this is what? Sorrow only. What else is it? Are you with me? And now the object is of changing nature. And your mind is also of changing nature. Either of them can change and both can change. And then you are in a miserable condition. So that's why Swami Chinmayanandaji says, before the world kicks you, you kick the world. Mentally. Not physically. Mentally kick means, it has only transactional value. I told you, Gadi is what? Dabba fitted with wheels, engine, air conditioner and all that. Right? And it takes you from one place to another. For that purpose, you need to sit in the Gadi. Use it. Don't get attached. That's how a sannyasi, yogi functions. Spiritual person functions. So Vedanta is not saying drop them physically. Mentally kick them, knowing their value. The moment you are attached, the moment desire comes, agitation starts. Dukkha ho jayega. What will happen to this thing? See, in the story, if I get involved, then I can't complete the chapter today. Janaka was a student in the classroom studying Vedanta. And all the other students thought the teacher is giving preference to the king. So he said, let me teach them a lesson. And he falsely created fire in Mithilai, the city, which the king is Janaka. All the fellows ran to save their houses. Janaka was sitting. Lecture was continuing. They came back. They knew it was false fire after going there. They came back. The class is continuing. Then they understood why the class is continuing. Not because he's the king. Because he's detached. You understand? Because he knows. These are all external things. That which came will go. That which came will go. That's why he says, they have a beginning and an end. For enjoyments that are born of contacts or wombs of sorrow, they have a beginning and an end. Adhyantavanta Kaunteya. Kaunteya means Kunti, Putra, Arjuna. You are born. The moment you are born, the body will enjoy something. Physical enjoyments will be there. Emotional enjoyments will be there. Intellectual enjoyments will be there. All will come, all will go. But what will always be there? The bliss within will always be there. Are you with me? Adhyantavanta Kaunteya. The wise ones do not rejoice in them. Wise ones do not rejoice in them doesn't mean that they don't have the capacity to enjoy. This is the last thing. When you get involved and indulge in the senses, what happens to the senses? The senses lose the capacity to enjoy. But the mind is developing more and more desires. There is desire, but you cannot enjoy. Sugar problem. So we cannot enjoy. So what we have done? We have indulged in the senses. So sense contact brings dukkham, na? You understand? So therefore, that is the last thing. Whereas this person does not rejoice means that mentally indulging is not there. He in fact enjoys when he has to contact. He fully enjoys it, but he doesn't mentally rejoice in it. Continue.
शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुम् प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवम् वेगम् स युक्तः स सुखी नरः.
This is another beautiful shloka. Each of the shloka we can take one class minimum. That's how powerful these shlokas are. He who is able to withstand even here means in this world, in this body, before liberation from the body. Before liberation from the body means is obviously talking about sannyasi and yogi, right? You can take it up whichever way you want. I already told you 21, 22, 23 talks about vairagya. The force arising from desire and anger, kama krodha, is a problem. See, a thought comes in your head, about an object. And then what happens? It slowly, initially it doesn't do much. Then slowly, ek aur thought comes. The same thought repeatedly comes. And then it gathers momentum, velocity. That velocity calls as vega. That comes from kama. And when kama is interrupted, when the desire is interrupted, you develop anger. Anger is nothing but desire interruption. You like something and you're pursuing it, somebody comes in between and says you cannot get it. You get angry with them. Isn't it? That is anger. Anger is always a desire interruption. Please understand. When the desire is interrupted, you get angry. Krodha. And krodha, what happens? Slowly you develop, and that also becomes vega. You want to throw something at him, or you don't know what all you can do. That both kama and krodha develops vega. And once you give in to vega, you yourself say, I don't know what I will do. I won't be even a human being, I'm telling you, when I get angry. Isn't it? You won't be a human being when desire comes. That's what happened to Ravana. Everything that he learnt, he chanted Samaveda to Lord Shiva. Now, what happened to him? Kama develops into velocity. Krodha develops into velocity. If you give in to that, you're finished. You should have the ability to withstand that velocity. The force arising from desire and anger. Such a person is a yogi. He alone is happy. One who gives in to that is not happy. You say, I got a kick. Finished him off. No? You say that. Your expressions are like that you say. Actually, what is happening? You say I kicked him, but you are also kicked in the process. You can't sit down quietly. You can't think. Isn't it? That's why in Tamil, Thiruvalluvar says in Tirukkural, Sinam ennum சேர்ந்தாரை kolli, inam ennum ஏமப்புனையை சுடும். Sinam means anger. Anger first kills you. If you have anger, then only it kills others, if at all. Are you with me? So they are your enemy. You must have control over them. So the sannyasi controls them. Yogi controls them. The force arising from desire and anger. He is a yogi. Only that fellow is happy. When this velocity and all that quietens, then from within, you say, hey buddy, I am there. Hello. From within, Atma is talking. You understand? Then you are so busy externally. He is there always with us. He, she, whatever you want to call it. Atma is always there. But we have not turned towards it. So therefore we are not happy. How much ever we get, are we happy? No. Dil mange more. Crave, and not happy at all. Dissatisfied. So the moment you control the thoughts that are running uncontrollably, turn within, you find the happiness. Continue.
Yonta sukontara ramaha tatata jyotirevayah sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhi gacchati.
See, beautifully he says, he who is happy within. Now, those who practice this vairagya, these sannyasis, they've turned their mind, intellect, and senses inward, isn't it? It's like all along your torch has been held like this, light was showing outside. The moment you turn inside, this is the problem. You don't do that because you are thinking that you are the best person in the world till now. There's nobody else who's better than you. And yet it is true, you don't want to spend time with yourself. You understand? But in your opinion, I am going through all these problems because all these people are there. If that fellow is set right, I'll be fine. If this fellow is set right, I'll be fine. You think like this. A torch is always held outward. Now, the moment you turn inward, you see, my God, itna kachra. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, bhaya. You get scared. Hare babre. ये किसका एक्सरे? अरे आपका ही है. You understand? मेरा? नहीं, गलती किसी और का होगा. अरे भाई आपका ही है. Then you say, किसी और का देख सकते हैं? Maybe it is better. You have a lot more kachra. You understand? So this person has cleaned all the kachra. He already said, no. The more and more kachra is cleaned, all the conditionings removed, inside that lamp is always glowing. The divinity, you understand? The truth, the bliss, he now experiences that. So that's what he's saying. He who is happy within, who rejoices within, who is illumined within, at the physical, emotional, intellectual level, he is only acting for transactional purpose, but his torch is always turned inward. That yogi who is united, alone becoming Brahman. Only that person becomes Brahman. It is not possible. Otherwise you will say, why can't I externally contact the world, be in it all the time, and also experience the bliss? Not possible. Until I keep quiet, you won't hear that sound. Isn't it? Like that, unless and until the mind that is extrovertedly running doesn't become calm, the truth from within doesn't have an opportunity to reveal itself. Are you with me? So therefore he says, he who is happy within, who rejoices within, who is illumined within, that yogi alone. Remember, this word alone has very too much importance. Please understand. That person alone, that yogi alone, becoming Brahman. What happens to him? He eventually becomes Brahman. Meaning what? He realizes that he is Brahman. Becomes doesn't mean he was not Brahman before. He is Brahman. She was Brahman. She is Brahman. Now she's realized it. She is enlightened about it. So, and experiences the bliss within, which is always there. I've been searching for the glass. Sometimes, we keep the glass like this. And then we're searching for it. Karaka. Then somebody says, what is this? Oh, correct. Then you put it. It's like that. The bliss is always within you. But you've been searching for it outside. The moment you turn inward, only then you can get it. Continue.
Labhante brahmanirvanam vishaya kshina kalmashaha Chinnadvaidhayatmanaha sarvabhutahiterataha.
So he says, how does a sannyasi, evolve and become jnani, Brahman? How does he get enlightened? He says, sages attain the bliss of Brahman. How? Firstly, their sins have been destroyed. Whose sins have been destroyed? Sins means agitation, which comes from desire, vasanas. Through karma yoga, they purify the vasanas. And whose dualities are destroyed. Also, the word here, chinnadvaida, means doubts are gone. Through the thinking, intellectual pursuit, knowledge. Whose dualities are destroyed. Who are self-controlled. Who have control over their mind and the senses. You understand? They are practicing the discipline. Now see, all this can be interpreted in many different ways, right? The one can be interpreted as internal discipline, the other is external discipline, all that. But the point that you need to understand is, you have to turn antarmukham. But before turning antarmukham, doing internal practices, these things you have to achieve. First, get rid of the impurities. Gain control over yourself. Your senses should listen to what you say. Now the senses are doing something else. You are telling something, senses are doing something. You must have self-control. And once you've gained all this, then such a person, he says, who revel in the welfare of all beings. Such a person, thereafter, he is more and more identified with the Atma within. It's the same Atma that is pulsating in every being. Thereafter, the selfishness goes. We all become one kutumba, Sudeva kutumba. Thereafter, he or she functions for the welfare of all beings, not just for himself or herself. And such a person is called sage. Such a sage attains Brahman. Such a person alone sees the truth. Truth is there, but you are not seeing. Why? Because you are having cataract. Cataract को remove करना बहुत जरूरी है ना? Then you suddenly see, oh, पहला ये तो नहीं, I couldn't see. Now I am seeing. How? Cataract is removed. So they worked on themselves. Step by step they worked on themselves through karma bhakti gyan and through other disciplines that help you to do karma bhakti gyan. See, when you're doing karma bhakti gyan, you also need to maintain sattvic food. You also need to maintain sattvic timetable. Dinacharya is very important. Are you with me? That's why we say, before you come to this class also, we have bhajans. Come down, sit down quietly, enjoy the bhajans. Keep yourself calm so that you can enjoy the class. If you're coming running, you're so disturbed. It takes about 15 minutes to attune. Are you with me? So the other disciplines are also very, very important. Self-control is very important. Keeping good company at all levels is very important. That's why Adi Shankara says, Satsangatve Nissangatvu. Nissangatve Nirmohatvu. Nirmohatve Nishchalatatvu. Nishchalatatve Jivan Mukti. Satsang, keep good company. Make sure what is good for your senses. Make sure what is good for your thinking. What can keep you light as much as possible. Understand? If you don't eat, problem. If you eat too much or if you eat certain food that requires tremendous energy to digest, that's a problem. You need energy to think. You eat certain things. So we are not saying that is wrong or right. What food is good for you, you choose that. Then you are a yogi. Then such a person alone, as he evolves, identifies with all beings. He practices that ahimsa. He works for the welfare of all beings. He's not selfish anymore. Such a person becomes a sage and such a person attains Brahman. Continue.
Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yata chetasam avito brahma nirvadam vartate viditatmanam.
For those who are freed from desire and anger, it goes on telling again and again, freed from desire and anger, freed from desire and anger. What does that mean? Where is the desire and anger? In you. You have to rise above them. You understand? So for those who have freed themselves from desire and anger, who are self-control, kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam. One who is yati, one who is well controlled, who have subdued their mind completely. See, the word used here is abhitaha. Abhitaha means completely also, like it is interpreted here. It also means before and after. Understand? So he says, those who have subdued their mind, always, not just in some context, who have realized the self, the bliss of Brahman resides in them before they give up the body, and after they give up the body, they continue being in the bliss. This is called Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti technically. Jivan Mukti means liberation while you are alive. You attain Mukti while you are alive. When you have dropped all your Sanchita karmas. total karmas. But those karmas which propelled you to birth, they are called prarabdha karmas. They are there. That's why all the jnanis, after enlightenment also, they continued living for a while. They didn't die. You understand? They were only expressing their prarabdha karmas. Are you with me? So, they are, for all practical purposes, they are liberated. So, they are in bliss. And what happens when the prarabdha karma is over? They give up the body. Once the body is gone, sanchita karma also gone, prarabdha karma also gone. No more karma, no more birth. So they are always in bliss before and after. Once you rise above your desire and anger, once you practice self-control and you go above your mind, rise above your dictates of the mind, you gain control over yourself fully. You understand? Such a person reaches that supreme state by dropping the vasanas. I already told you, when you act propelled by desire, your desire increases, your vasanas increases. When you act propelled by knowledge of the self, giving direction to your desires, you drop the vasanas, you enjoy the material world, you also drop the vasanas and you rise. So when you rise above the desires and the anger and complete control over your mind and senses, you start experiencing the bliss within and you will be established in it always. It is not that you experience now and when you die, again you will start from zero. Once you have exhausted the vasanas, no more birth. Now, till now, actually from till verse 26, chapter 5 is over. Next chapter is called Yoga of Meditation, Dhyana Yoga. So he starts giving introduction for it. So in other words, what he's doing is, only a person who has gained self-control, mind control, sense control, mind control, and is detached to the extent your mind is free from the preoccupations, you can do meditation. Otherwise, you can't do meditation. If your meditation is for the sake of liberation. Nowadays, all kinds of meditation happening. Meditation to become rich. Meditation to gain power. I don't know what all meditations are there. You understand? To become better health. Free from all the diseases. All kinds of meditations are there. He is not talking about the meditation. Here the meditation means to liberate. You understand? So therefore he introduces meditation. He goes into detail about it in the next chapter. Whole chapter Dhyana Yoga. We'll do it next year. Okay. We'll again come back. It doesn't matter how many people come. We will still come. You understand? So Dhyana Yoga he discusses in detail. Here he mentions it. Gives an introduction, 27, 28 and 29, how through meditation you become one with Brahman, he talks about. Continue. We'll chant 27 and 28 together.
Sparshan kritva badhirbhagya chakshushaivantare bhuvoho pranapanau samau kritva nasabhyantaracharinav yatindriyamano buddhihi munirmokshaparayanah vigatecha bhayakrodha yasada mukta eva saha.
Again he says, shutting out external contacts and fixing the gaze as though between the eyebrows, equalizing the flow of incoming and outgoing breaths in the nostrils, having the senses, mind and intellect controlled with liberation as the goal, moksha as the goal, not gaining power, not gaining money, not gaining health. All this can be a byproduct, but that's not the main goal. What is the main goal? Moksha, liberation. The sage, such a person is called sage, free from the desires and anger and fear, desire and its modifications, is verily liberated forever through meditation. So, yogi who comes to sannyasi, renunciate, he qualifies for meditation and he's talking about the meditation procedure. See, we say in the class also, please put your mobile phone in silent mode or switch it off. Many of you will put it in silent mode, may not be in switch off mode. Doesn't matter. Why? There will be disturbance. Similarly, if in our mind, see, you can go and sit in a very, secluded place. Not many people may be there, right? But there is definitely one person there. Who? Your own mind. By this time, I will be eating my breakfast. The thought will come. By this time, I'll be sleeping. Something or the other will be coming. Because your mind you are carrying. See, a lot of people, they run away from one country to another country thinking that there is peace there. Migrating. You understand? Oh, I'm migrating. Why? Kya country hai idhar? Sab kuch problem hai. I'm going to Canada for peace. And they migrate. And wahan jaake they complain. Arey Papa, itna tax hai? Itna tax? Oh, why am I going to Canada? Because education is free, health is free, ye wo karke udhar jayenge. But same mind you are taking, na? So you get agitated because you want everything free. You must go to give, not to take. You go with the same mind of taking. How can you be happy in Canada? You go wherever you want, you will be agitated. At least go there with the attitude of giving, then you will be happy. They'll also be happy about Indians. Oh, these fellows have come and contributing for this country. Otherwise, they'll get agitated. Who are these fellows? All the time thinking about taking things free. You understand? So, mind, you are taking the same mind. Therefore, he says, shutting out the external contact, not just the eyes. You forcefully close your eyes. Of course, close your eyes also. It's not easy to keep your eyes and meditate. First, closed-eye meditation, then open-eyed meditation. You understand? So, shutting your eyes, the external contacts. And then he says, very interesting, fixing the gaze as though between the eyebrows. In the next chapter, he'll say, look at the tip of the nose. Whether you look at this tip or this tip of the nose, you try. You'll focus, the pressure will go here. You understand? Now, it's very interesting. Your eyes, when it's open, your awareness is going out. So, you have to allow the attention to go within. Mind has to run. Energy has to run. You have to make it run within. So, these are all practices that are conducive. You understand? So, there is a particular posture on which you sit. You can lie down and meditate also. The problem is you may go off to sleep. You understand? Sitting, meditating itself, you are going to sleep. Lying down, what happens? You can meditate anyway. It's not like only this way you have to meditate. You understand? So many procedures are there. He's only mentioning some. So, he says, you have to draw within, as though between the eyebrows, equalizing the flow of incoming and outgoing breath. See, breath is the goda on which the mind travels. You understand? Very interesting. When the mind gets agitated, you breathe. Shallow breathing happens. Breathing is connected with the mind. You understand? Prana. Now, if you balance your breathing, they call it pranayama, I'm not going into the details of it. Now, your sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, both are there. When you're agitated, sympathetic nervous system kicks in. When you're relaxed, parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. You won't be concerned. Did I lock my car? I'm in meditation, but I'm thinking, did I lock my car? I opened the window a little bit. Did I close? I think I've kept my purse inside. Kya hua? You understand? So therefore, breathing. These are all conducive. Doesn't mean through breathing you can control the mind. It's conducive. When you control the mind, breathing gets controlled. But when you control the breathing, it's conducive for controlling the mind also. You understand? So therefore, he says, equalizing the flow of incoming and outgoing breaths in the nostrils. How you have to sit in meditation? Precondition, he says, senses, mind and intellect controlled. Now, how many of us are going into meditation after doing little bit of control at least? It's not possible. throughout the day you do all selfish actions, warring with everybody, fighting, and then sitting in meditation. What will happen? How is it possible that you can meditate? What about peace hona chahiye na? To sit down. That's what he's saying. Senses, mind and intellect should be under control. Your mind has been constantly exposed to indulgence. It will be closing the eyes, but it will be thinking about what you indulged. Therefore, you need to have a disciplined lifestyle. Control the senses, mind and intellect. Then come to meditation and then keep the goal of liberation, moksha, not these things. See, the problem is when we have topic, leadership lessons through Bhagavad Gita, more people come. Success through Bhagavad Gita, more people. Become a multimillionaire through Bhagavad Gita, all will not be enough. We are all the time wanting the world through these things. But Bhagavad Gita is telling you get much more and you will get this also as a byproduct. वो छोड़ दो भाई, आप रख लो. You understand? Or the Swami has to come in Rolls Royce. Then you will come. Oh, this fellow knows the method of getting the Rolls Royce. Then I will go to this Swami. If the Swami comes by walk, nobody will go to him. You understand? This is the problem. So he says liberation as the goal. The sage, free from desire, anger and fear, desire and its modification, is verily liberated forever. He attains the liberation. And what is that state he talks? Continue.
भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
Bhoktaram yajna tapasam, very famous shloka. Having known me as the enjoyer of sacrifices and austerities. See, there is real joy not in indulgence. You understand? There is real joy in abstinence. But the problem is, if you abstain, you think joy will be gone. You are conditioned like that. So you won't leave it, you won't get it. The monkey is so hungry, sees a glass jar with a small neck. So the monkey puts the hand inside to draw the nuts from the jar. Inside the jar there is a lot of nuts. So the monkey has put the hand inside and it's grabbed the nuts. Once it grabs the nuts, the fingers have closed. The palm is not open anymore. It's closed. Now it's closed, it's not coming out of the jar. Now the monkey doesn't want to let go the nuts. Are you with me? And it's always trapped. This is the problem. So he says beautifully here, the Atma, the self within, me. Whenever these great masters use the word me, means they're talking about the Atma, not Mr. Krishna. Having known me means not Mr. Krishna. Having known the Atma, the self, as the enjoyer of sacrifices and austerities. Meaning what? Only through yajna activity, selfless activity, unselfish activity, unselfless activity, your enjoyment increases. You go to the bliss within. Only through tapas you experience the bliss. By indulgence you don't experience the bliss. He already explained all that. So he says that is the Supreme Lord. You become the Supreme Lord. Meaning what? The consciousness that enlivens the waking, dream and deep sleep states. That consciousness you become. The Lord of all the worlds. The three worlds. The three worlds are waking, dream and deep sleep worlds. And the friend of all beings. See, friend gives you solace, peace. You understand? And he will be with you all the time. Especially during difficult times, he will not leave you. Right? Like that Atma has always been there with you. You forgot to refer to him. Especially during good times. Good times, you forgot. But he's always been there with you. Friend means one who will be with you always. Even in your anger, he will be with you. And only his friend, na? You understand? He allows you to be yourself. And only you are a friend. What friend are you? Your condition. You, this, I'm your friend. Otherwise what? You understand? So therefore, always he is there. The divinity is always with you. The friend of all beings. He knows that. And he has gained that knowledge through meditation. He becomes one with it and he attains peace. Having known me means having known the Atma as all this, he attains peace. He attains peace means what? He becomes totally liberated, goes beyond desires, and attains moksha. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavadgita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Panchamodhyaya. What it means is, whenever we start anything, whenever we conclude anything, we start with Om. Om or Om Tat Sat, auspicious. You understand? Everything should be started auspiciously, ended auspiciously. So, chapter is concluding. So, Om. The message in the Gita is nothing but the message in the Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads. And it is talking about what? Brahma Vidya. And it is given in what format? Conversation format between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. In that message, the conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, chapter 5 entitled Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of renunciation of action, we have studied, ended. So we have the humility to believe that we have not concluded the chapter. We have only started. We have gone through the chapter. We are informed about it, but it is not brought about transformation. So therefore, we have to continue studying. We just started. We have the humility. So with that humility, we have the tradition of chanting shloka number 1 of chapter 5 together. Please chant.
Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam Cha Shamsasi Yat Shreya Etayorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam.